Hi guys, and welcome to your fourth Sunday Night Fulham Quiz. This is a quiz for you guys, the fans, to make sure you're not forgetting about Fulham, that you're keeping up to date with your knowledge on all things Fulham. It seems to be going well as well. A lot of people messaging me on Twitter after the quizzes, and they're showing a clear line of scores getting better and better. So I'm hoping this is number 4. You know, a few people have, they're getting close to getting perfect. So maybe this is the one where someone manages 40 out of 40. Who knows? Once again, as usual, it's going to be 4 rounds, all Fulham related, and then we are going to take a 5-minute break for you guys to go over your answers, maybe grab yourselves a drink, and then we'll come back and I will do the answers for you. The 4 rounds we have are Fulham General Knowledge, the 2000-2001 season. We have a Clint Dempsey round, the Lord, God, Saviour, Clint Dempsey, and then a final round on record signings. All about Fulham, loads to get on with. Once again, once we're finished with the quiz, dive onto Twitter and let us know how you've got on, and maybe someone's going to have got that 40 out of 40. I've had a look at the questions, a few tough ones in there, I'm not going to lie. So, if you have grabbed yourselves a pen and paper, good. Have you grabbed yourselves a drink? Good. I'm just going to lean and grab mine. Okay, round 1, let's do this. This is Fulham General Knowledge. Question number 1. What are the 10 roads that run opposite Craven Cottage collectively known as? That is, what are the 10 roads that run opposite Craven Cottage collectively known as? Now, most people, I think, are going to know the answer to this. I knew this from a very young age, as my dad grew up on one of these roads. Which is very exciting. So, I think most people will know this. So question number 1, our first question of the Fulham quiz. What are the 10 roads that run opposite Craven Cottage collectively known as? Question number 2. Which member of England's Euro 96 squad went on to become a coach at Fulham? So, which member of the Euro 96, England's Euro 96 squad went on to become a coach at Fulham? Been really enjoying the repeats of Euro 96 on ITV. Is it ITV? I think it's ITV. I remember that was, it must be the first competition where I really, truly fell in love with football. I was about 11, 12, I think, and I was obsessed. It was, I can't remember 11, 12, Euro 96, 13, maybe 12, no, 12. It was amazing. The first time I'd heard Football's Coming Home, Badil and Skinner and the Lightning Seeds, oh man, I was obsessed with that track. So good. Question number 3. Who scored a crucial goal against Lincoln City 38 years ago this week? So, question number 3. Who scored a crucial goal against Lincoln City 38 years ago this week? Okay. That's a tough one, that. You might have to make a little note and come back to it, I reckon. Question number 4. How many former Fulham players have taken permanent charge of the club in the last 20 years? We don't want any caretaker managers. These are permanent managers. So how many former Fulham players have taken permanent charge of the club in the last 20 years? Coffee time for me. That's a good coffee. It's a good coffee. Right. Question number 5. Who did Dennis Odoi make his Fulham debut against? Who did Dennis Odoi make his football debut against. Love Dennis Adoy, top bloke, lovely player. Just an all-round really, really nice guy. And I love the fact that I think the Fulham fans have sort of really come around, isn't the word, come around to him. It's more just really just they appreciate him now for what he is, and he is a solid player, loves the club. I think he's one of our longest serving players as well. Hit 100 appearances for us quite recently, I think, but it's he really is a top player. Lovely guy. But who was his debut against? It's a pretty big game. Question number 6. What was the Johnny Haynes stand previously known as? What was the Johnny Haynes stand previously known as? Every single Fulham fan should know this. If you don't, that's, I mean, terrible. Terrible. So with that in mind, as you hopefully have all scribbled down the answer to that, I'm going to move on to question number 7. Cliff Jones, a Tottenham legend who finished his career at Fulham, has a grandson now on the coaching staff at Craven Cottage. Who is it? So Cliff Jones, a Tottenham legend who finished his career at Fulham, has a grandson now on the coaching staff at Craven Cottage. Who is it? No Googling, no cheating. See if you can get this. You might be able to hear, I mean, if it's not my dog barking and messing up the quiz, there's my cat now meowing outside the front door. Hold up. In you come. Excellent. My cat Dolly, named after Dolly Parton. I didn't name it. Lovely cat though. Okay. Question number 8. Which 19-cap England international had a career path that read Fulham, QPR, Man United, Derby, Sheffield United, Fulham, and then Chelsea? I literally just let you in, mate. Oh. Amazing. Okay, so which 19-cap England international had a career path that read Fulham, QPR, Man United, Derby, Sheffield United, Fulham, and then Chelsea? Let's not hold QPR and Chelsea against him. What's up? Come here. Crazy. And do you know what? She never makes noise. Like, she's never a problem. Yet now, right now, she decides to. Right. Question number 9. Whose only Fulham goal was a last gasp equaliser against Portsmouth in March 2007, despite barely being able to walk? So whose only Fulham goal was a last gasp equaliser against Portsmouth in March 2007, despite barely being able to walk? What do you think of that? I'm going to let that cat back out the same door she just came in. Cats, eh? All right. So, whose only Fulham goal was a last gasp equaliser against Portsmouth in March 2007, despite barely being able to walk? Okay, and finally, question number 10. Who scored Fulham's first goal of the current season? Who scored Fulham's first goal of the current season? The one that's going on currently. Will it end? How it will end? Who knows? But who scored that first goal? Yeah. Just picturing it right now. Have a think. Who scored it? Right. That is all the questions for round 1. We'll be moving on to round 2. Right, round number 2. This is questions all on the 2000-2001 season. So, question number 1. Which country did Fulham play in a pre-season friendly, winning 2-0 at Craven Cottage, courtesy of a Karl-Heinz Riedel brace? I've got a clue for you on this one. This team were playing their first ever match on English soil. That's quite something. So, which country did Fulham play in a pre-season friendly, winning 2-0 at Craven Cottage, courtesy of a Karl-Heinz Riedel brace? and this is a team that were playing their first ever match on English soil. Okay, question number 2. Which member of the squad had Jean Tigana managed previously? Which member of the squad had Jean Tigana managed previously? We're currently doing okay Steve-wise. He spent most of the last quiz barking throughout the entire quiz. Little fact for you, I had to redo the entire round number 3 because he wouldn't leave me alone, and he was harassing me and making noises, and because he's so small, he was slightly off camera, and it was just weird. So I had to redo the whole thing. It was very odd. But we're doing okay at the moment, touch wood. Okay, question number 3. What was the name of Jean Tigana's assistant manager? What was the name of Jean Tigana's assistant manager? What I might do, like I said, there's been a few people sort of say they don't think Steve is real, or that actually exists because no one's really seen him, unless you follow me on Instagram. But I might get him out right at the end when I'm doing the answers, maybe. Depends how sleepy he is. Okay, question number 4. Fulham made history by winning their first how many league matches of the season? So I want you to fill in the gap here. So Fulham made history by winning their first league matches of the season. I think that made sense how I just read that. I'll do that one more time. Fulham made history by winning their first league matches of the season. Fill in that blank. How many of them were there? Okay. Question number 5. I hear a fly. Where did that go? Question number 5. Who scored a hat-trick in Fulham's Boxing Day victory over Watford? Who scored a hat-trick in Fulham's Boxing Day victory over Watford? We love a Boxing Day victory, don't we? Just some things just go together. And Fulham and winning on Boxing Day is one of those things. I don't know what it is. Maybe all the other teams just take their eyes off the prize on Christmas Day. You know, they relax too hard. Fulham, we don't. We stay focused but professional. Okay. Question number 6. What was the first match played after Chris Coleman's car accident? Question number 6. What was the first match played after Chris Coleman's car accident? He was a very, very big loss. And he definitely had a good sort of 4 or 5 years left in him. He was a fantastic player. We did miss him on the pitch. So what was the first match played after Chris Coleman's car accident? Question number 7. 63 of Fulham's 90 league goals were scored by Zaha, Hales and Boa Morte. Who was our 4th highest scorer? That is a good question. At this point, give a shout out to the guys at Fulham, mainly Jeff Pruce, who has been coming up with these questions, and they are absolutely brilliant. He's been doing, his research is impeccable, and he's spot on. Fair play to him. So he's the one. If you want to, maybe tweet Jeff to thank him for such wonderful questions. Do. I think he'd appreciate it. So. 63 of Fulham's 90 league goals were scored by Zaha, Hales and Boa Morte. Who was our 4th highest scorer? Question number 8. How many points did we finish the season on? Question number 8. How many points... Sneeze! Oh no. Don't freak out, anyone. It's hay fever. Bless me. Nothing else, I promise you. Hay fever. Okay, let's do that one again. So how many points did we finish the season on? I think we should know this. I think most people will know this. It was a pretty big deal at the time, let's just say that. So question number 9. Who said this about Fulham? The fact that they have done the double on us and the number of points they lead by may suggest otherwise, but I still believe we are the better side. Okay. So, which delusional person said this? The fact that they have done the double on us and the number of points they lead may suggest otherwise, but I still believe we are the better side. Interesting. Interesting. Yes, I'm going to crack straight on to the final question of our 2000-2001 season round. Question number 10. After which match was the team presented with the Division 1 trophy? After which match was the team presented with the Division 1 trophy? Coffee time. Coffee time. Sip of coffee. Although on a hot day, I should really be drinking like an iced latte or maybe an iced tea, something cold and refreshing. But I've gone with coffee. Still quite early for me. Okay, that is the final question of our 2000-2001 round. We are going to now move on to our next round. Okay, it is time for round number 3. This is all about the one and only Clint Dempsey. Let's go. Question number 1. From which side did Fulham sign Clint? From which side did Fulham sign Clint? What a signing as well. What a signing. We have some very, very good scouts at the club who are able to find these incredible talents from certain sides that that often come to Fulham and become really incredible players. There we go. From which side did Fulham sign Clint? Question number 2. Which manager signed Clint for Fulham? Which manager signed Clint for Fulham? Take this little moment to, again, give a little shout out to Clint, as he is a very, very nice guy. Super friendly, absolutely loves Fulham. Has been back a number of times as well since he left. Really, really top guy. Great player as well, wasn't he? Question number 3. In his chant, which rival player do fans say Clint makes look below par? In his chant, which rival player do fans say Clint makes look below par? Not to say that is what is in his chant, the words below par. But there you go. I think other words are used. Question number 4. Who did Clint score his first Fulham goal against? Who did Clint score his first Fulham goal against? First of many, many goals. This was a big goal as well. That's what I'm giving you. It's a big goal. But who did Clint score his first Fulham goal against? Okay, question number 5, and I did not know anything about this, so this is pretty crazy. So, which player did Liverpool offer Fulham as part of their attempts to buy Dempsey in the summer of 2012? Which player did Liverpool offer Fulham as part of their attempts to buy Dempsey in the summer of 2012? I don't know if this is like common knowledge among Fulham fans. And if so, shame on me. But yeah, I hadn't got a clue about this. But which player did Liverpool offer as part of their attempts to buy Dempsey in the summer of 2012? Question number 6. How many goals did Clint score for Fulham against Chelsea? Is it 2, 4, 6 or 8? How many goals did Clint score for Fulham against Chelsea? Was it 2, 4, 6 or 8? Just pop a number down. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go. Question number 7. In what minute of the game did Clint score against Juve? In what minute of the game did Clint score against Juventus? My word. Again, you might have this tattooed on you somewhere. You might have this very, very fresh in your minds as, we've relived it recently on the Fulham site, which was an absolute joy. Again, shout out to the guys doing that at Fulham. It was great to do the Derby one as well recently, wasn't it? Really, really good fun, those. But yeah, and what was the minute of the game did Clint score against Juventus? Question number 8. Which body part did Clint injure when he found out he wasn't starting against Hamburg? Again, I didn't know this either. Like, reading the answer, again, shame on me if this is like common knowledge amongst the Fulham faithful. But yeah, this is all new to me. But which body part did Clint injure when he found out he wasn't starting against Hamburg? Question number 9. What milestone number of goals has Clint Dempsey scored in the Premier League for Fulham? So question number 9. What milestone number of goals has Clint Dempsey scored in the Premier League for Fulham? And we have one more question on the one and only Clint Dempsey, or Deuce, as other people call him. Who was in goal for England when Clint equalised for the United States at the 2010 World Cup? So who was in goal for England when Clint equalised for the United States at the 2010 World Cup? Also want to take this moment as well to acknowledge the fact that one of my favourite bands of all time, Weezer, wrote a song for the USA World Cup squad. I think it was for the 2010 World Cup. And it was called Represent. And it had Clint Dempsey on the cover. And it was like two of my worlds coming together, Weezer and Fulham. It was brilliant. Anyway, that is the end of our name fact for you. There you go, you have that. That is the end of our Clint Dempsey round. Next up, our final round. Okay, and let's move on to our final round. This is all about record signings. Questions all about players who at one time have been Fulham's most expensive signing. So here we go. Question number 1. What was the nickname of Alan Clark, the first player to cost Fulham more than £30,000? So what was the nickname of Alan Clark, the first player to cost Fulham more than £30,000? I feel like with some of these, it's like questions like this, you're either going to know it or you're not. So most people are just quickly writing this down, others just haven't got a clue. Stick a guess down. Just stick it down. But with that in mind, I'm going to move on to the next question, which is question number 2. What did Teddy Maybank's big money departure fund for the club? Question number 2. What did Teddy Maybank's big money departure fund for the club? I didn't know this at all. And it's really cool. I like this. Great little thing. Fact, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I hadn't got a clue. And I love that. What did Teddy Maybank's big money departure fund for the club? If you haven't got a clue, just stick a guess down. Very cool though. Question number 3. How did Paul Moody write his name into Fulham history on his final appearance for the club? So, how did Paul Moody write his name into Fulham history on his final appearance for the club? What did he do? Question number 4. Who was Fulham's first £1 million player? Who was Fulham's first £1 million player? One of my favourite players. This guy. Loved him. Absolutely loved him. Wicked player. Question number 5. How many divisions did Cookie Chris Coleman drop down to join Fulham? How many divisions did Chris Coleman drop down to join Fulham? Wise move. Wise move. Good work. But how many divisions did Chris Coleman drop down to join Fulham? Question number 6. What led to Lee Clark becoming available for Fulham to buy from Sunderland in the summer of 1999? What led to Lee Clark becoming available for Fulham to buy from Sunderland in the summer of 1999? I didn't know this answer. It's great. I didn't know this. That's brilliant. Again, don't know if that's common knowledge, but that's brilliant. So what led to Lee Clark becoming available for Fulham to buy from Sunderland in the summer of 1999? Question number 7. How much did Fulham part with to bring Alan Goma in from Newcastle United in March of 2001? How much did Fulham part with to bring Alan Goma in from Newcastle United in March of 2001? Now, fans of the Monday Night Fulham Fix, obviously we've not had episodes in a while for obvious reasons. Hopefully it will come back soon. But fans would have seen Alain on one of the recent episodes. Lovely, lovely guy. But we discussed in detail his signing from Newcastle United and how much it was. So if you've watched that recently, you should know the answer. If you've not watched it, hey, head back to the Fulham website or head to the Fulham YouTube page and you can rewatch it and rewatch all your Monday Night Fulham fixes. They are a lot of fun. They really are. Question number 8. Fulham shocked the football world by bringing in Edwin van der Sar to SW6 after Juventus had signed which goalkeeper? Fulham shocked the football world by bringing Edwin van der Sar to SW6 after Juventus had signed which goalkeeper? Okay. A relatively easy one for question number 9. From which French club did we sign Steve Marley? From which French club did we sign Steve Marley? And I think most people will know that. I think most people. So we're going to move on to the final question of our Sunday Night Fulham Quiz. How did Slaviša Jokanovic first make contact with Alexander Mitrovic to discuss bringing him in on loan? How did Slaviša Jokanovic first make contact with Alexander Mitrovic to discuss bringing him in on loan? So, there we go. That is the final question of our Fulham quiz for you today. So what we're going to do is now give you 5 minutes to go over your answers. Make sure you're happy with all of them. Remember, no cheating, no Googling, none of that stuff. So yeah, go over your answers. If you're happy with what you've written down, hey, why don't you grab yourself another beer from the fridge? And we're going to be back in 5 minutes. I'm going to go through all the answers for you. See you in a sec. So that is your 5 minutes up. Here we go. We have the answers for you now. So let's do this. General knowledge was the first round. It is 1 point for every correct answer. Question number 1. What are the 10 roads that run opposite Craven Cottage, collectively known as? They're the alphabet streets. They're the alphabet streets. There's no A, but they run from B to L in order of Bishops Park Road, Cloncurry Street, Doneraile Street, Ellaby Street, Finley Street, Gresswell Street, Harvard Street, Inglethorpe Street, Kenyon Street, which is the street my granddad and Nanny and granddad had a property in, and my dad grew up on before they moved to Twickenham. But that's by the way. And Langthorne Street. So there we go. The alphabet streets. Question number 2. Which member of England's Euro 96 squad went on to become a coach at Fulham? It was Tim Flowers. Spent a couple of seasons as our goalkeeping coach under Slav. So Tim Flowers. Question number 3. Who scored a crucial goal against Lincoln City 38 years ago this week? The answer was Roger Brown. It was a huge game at Craven Cottage. Fulham needed a draw to secure promotion, but Lincoln would have leapfrogged us with a win, nail-biting 1-1 draw with Roger header proving decisive. So there we go, the answer, Roger Brown. Question number 4. How many former Fulham players have taken permanent charge of the club in the last 20 years? No caretakers in this. The answer was 3. It's Scott Parker, Kit Simons, and Chris Coleman. So Scott Parker, Kit Simons, and Chris Coleman. Question number 5. Oh, the answer there was 3, by the way. We don't need their names, just 3. Question number 5. Who did Dennis Odoi make his Fulham debut against? I mean, I like to think most people remember this. It was glorious. It was Newcastle United's first game in the Championship. Everyone had them ready to sort of, destroy us. But yeah, we won 1-0. And it's the one where Dennis Odoi did that incredible back flick, that little turn off his back. So cool, so smooth. So it was Newcastle United. Man, what a cool signing. Right, question number 6. What was the Johnny Haynes stand previously known as? Of course, the Stevenage Road stand. Like I said, if you didn't know that, find that mirror again. Take a long, hard look at yourself. Question number 7. Cliff Jones, a Tottenham legend who finished his career at Fulham, has a grandson now on the coaching staff at Craven Cottage. Who is it? The answer was Matt Wells. Matt Wells, our first team coach who Scott Parker worked with at Spurs and subsequently brought to Fulham. So there we go, Matt Wells. Question number 8. Which 19-cap England international had a career path that read Fulham, QPR, Man United, Derby, Sheffield United, Fulham and Chelsea? It was Paul Parker. It was Paul Parker. So there we go. And we'll try not to hold the fact that he played for QPR and Chelsea against him. Whose only Fulham goal was a last-gasp equaliser against Portsmouth in March 2007, despite barely being able to walk? It was Ian Pearce. Ian Pearce, he picked up an injury in the game, but we used all our substitutes and he still managed to pop up with a 90th minute equaliser at the Cottage. So Ian Pearce, there we go. Question number 10. Who scored Fulham's first goal of the current season? Tom Cairney. Tom Cairney, a trademark stunner to open the scoring in our 2-0 win over Blackburn Rovers in our first home game of the season. He only scores stunners, doesn't he? Let's be honest. So there we go. Tom Cairney is your answer there. Round number 2. By the way, possible 10 correct points there. Round number 2 is our 2000-2001 season. Question number 1. Which country did Fulham play in a pre-season friendly, winning 2-0 at Craven Cottage, courtesy of a Karl-Heinz Riedel brace? It was India. Their national team went on a tour in England to raise awareness of the lack of British Asians playing professional football. So there we go. Your answer, India. Question number 2. Which member of the squad had Jean Tigana managed previously? It was John Collins. John Collins, they spent 2 years together at Monaco, winning the league and reaching the Champions League semi-finals before Collins headed to Everton in 1998. Question number 3. What was the name of Jean Tigana's assistant manager? It was Christian Damiano. Definitely not pronounced that right. Damiano. I'm going to go with that. Christian Damiano. Apologies if I've got that wrong. I practiced it before. Christian Damiano. Or Damiano. Please don't judge me. I'm actually quite severely dyslexic. Oh dear. Happy days. But he was our assistant, John Tickenut's assistant manager. Moving on. Question number 4. Fulham made history by winning their first how many league matches of the season? It was 11. 11. In those 11 wins, we scored 31 goals and conceded just 6. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Question number 5. Who scored a hat-trick in Fulham's Boxing Day victory over Watford? It was Lord Barry Hales. Birthday boy recently as well. What a ledge. Barry Hales, we won 5-0 with the other 2 goals coming from Louis Saha and Andres Stolzers. That's right, Stolzers. Andres Stolzers. It was a statement-making win as Watford had looked like our main challengers earlier on in the season. So that was a strong 5-0 win. But the answer there, Barry Hales. Question number 6. What was the first match played after Chris Coleman's car accident? It was Manchester United. Manchester United, third round of the FA Cup. We lost 2-1 courtesy of a late Teddy Sheringham goal. Question number 7. 63 of Fulham's 90 league goals were scored by Saha, Hales and Boa Morte. Who was our 4th highest scorer? Interesting one. I don't think I knew this one, and I probably would have gone with someone else, but it was Lee Clark. He had scored 7 league goals. I would have probably said Sean Davis, but he had only scored 6. So there we go, Lee Clark. Question number 8. How many points did we finish the season on? 101. A record at the time that has since been beaten by Reading, who claimed 106 points 5 years later, which is a shame to lose the record, but you know, they are Reading, aren't they? They got to have something. So, question number 9. Who said this about Fulham? The fact that they have done the double on us and the number of points they lead by may suggest otherwise, but I still believe we are the better side. Which deluded person said that about Fulham? It was Graham Souness. Graham Souness. And this was a quote from his post-match press conference after our vital dramatic win at Ewood Park to effectively seal promotion. Sounding like a very, very, very bitter man right there. Question number 10. After which match was the team presented with the Division 1 trophy? It was Wimbledon. We'd actually secured the title 3 games earlier, but the trophy presentation didn't take place until our final home match of the campaign, a 1-1 draw with Wimbledon, and our last ever meeting as well with the Dons. So, possible 10 points for you there. Moving on to round 3, the Clint Dempsey round. From which side did Fulham sign Clint? It was New England Revolution. Signed for around £2 million, making him the MLS's most expensive ever export. Amazing. You think of that now, what a bargain. £2 million for Clint Dempsey. Incredible. Which manager signed Clint for Fulham? It was Chris Coleman. Chris Coleman, he said at the time, that's how wise he is, like Yoda, it may take a little time for Clint to get used to the Premiership, but when he does, I have no doubt that he will have an exciting impact for Fulham. I mean, spot on. Absolutely spot on. It's like Mystic Meg or something. Question number 3. In his chant, which rival player do fans say Clint makes look below par? It was Didier Drogba. They don't say below par, though. But this is a family quiz, so we're saying below par. Question number 4. Who did Clint score his first Fulham goal against? Liverpool. It was Liverpool. It was a crucial goal that effectively kept us up at the end of the 2006-2007 season. Liverpool. Question number 5. Which player did Liverpool offer Fulham as part of their attempts to buy Dempsey in the summer of 2012? I did not know this. And I say I don't know how many people do know this. Maybe I've had my head in the sand. But Jordan Henderson, apparently. He turned down the switch and Clint ended up going to Tottenham Hotspur instead. So Jordan Henderson is your answer there. Question number 6. How many goals did Clint score for Fulham against Chelsea? 2, 4, 6 or 8? The answer was 4. And a little fact for you right now, we never lost when Clint scored against them. Have that. Okay, question number 7. In what minute of the game did Clint score that incredible chip against Juventus? The 82nd minute, where time stood still. Unbelievable. Question number 8. Which body part did Clint injure when he found out he wasn't starting against Hamburg? His hand. His hand is the answer there. The bit I didn't know is the story that goes with it, but the story apparently goes that he was in line to start, but when Bobby Zamora passed a fitness test, he put his hand through a pane of glass in frustration and tore a load of tendons. I did not know that. And again, I don't know. That's the story. Might not be true. Maybe it is. But there we go. So the answer we're looking for is his hand. Question number 9. What milestone number of goals has Clint Dempsey scored in the Premier League for Fulham? I think this is quite a nice, easy one. It's 50. No player has scored more times in the Premier League for the Whites. 50. And question number 10, our final Clint Dempsey question. Who was in goal for England when Clint equalised for the United States at the 2010 World Cup? It was Rob Green. Rob Green. It was a speculative effort from Clint that somehow found its way through the West Ham goalie. Also worth acknowledging, I didn't mention this earlier, Clint is the cover of the Weezer single Represent, which was the song for the USA squad. Just by the by, it's a dreadful song, one of Weezer's worst. But it was cool to have Clint on the front cover, just putting it out there. Okay, and our final round was about record signings. Question number 1. What was the nickname of Alan Clark, the first player to cost Fulham more than £30,000? It was Sniffer. Sniffer. Presumably due to his ability to sniff out a goal as he departed Fulham, having scored 57 goals in 100 games. That's amazing. You might have seen Alan on the pitch as well at half-time if you're at the Leeds game this season. So, Sniffer. Question number 2. What did Teddy Maybank's big money departure fund for the club? It was the Riverside Stand. Didn't know that. That's amazing. The Riverside Stand. It was known as the Eric Miller Stand. That's what it was known as back then. It had not been long built, and the club used the money from Maybank's sale to Brighton to finish paying it off. He used to joke that it should have had a sign on it saying Ted paid for this. I still think it should somewhere. Maybe on the new Riverside Stand, maybe someone can put like a really tiny plaque saying at one point Ted paid for this. Not the new one, but would still be quite cool. I love that. How did Paul Moody write his name into Fulham history on his final appearance for the club? So, is the first Fulham substitute to score a hat-trick. So he's the first Fulham substitute to score a hat-trick. He came off the bench at half-time on the last day of the 98-99 season and scored all 3 goals in a 3-0 win over Preston. So that's very cool. So the answer we're looking for is the first Fulham substitute to score a hat-trick. Question number 4. Who was Fulham's first £1 million player? It was Paul Pescasolido, who joined from West Brom for £1.1 million in October 1997. Wicked player. Loved him. Question number 5. How many divisions did Chris Coleman drop down to join Fulham? The answer to that was 2. 2. Blackburn Rovers bought him when they were Premier League champions, but he left to join Division 2 Fulham 2 years later. Question number 6. What led to Lee Clark becoming available for Fulham to buy from Sunderland in the summer of 1999? It was a T-shirt. We're looking for a T-shirt. He was spotted wearing an anti-Sunderland T-shirt ahead of the 1999 FA Cup final between his beloved Newcastle United and Man U. He felt he couldn't keep playing for Sunderland after that incident and subsequently joined Fulham for £3 million. That's amazing. I love that. So a T-shirt, an anti-Sunderland T-shirt, and you're playing for Sunderland. Wow. Question number 7. How much did Fulham part with to bring Alan Goma in from Newcastle United in March 2001? Like I said, if you'd seen the Monday Night Fulham Fix with Alan, lovely, lovely bloke, you can go and check that out. It was £4 million. Big signing at the time. Big signing. A big statement of intent as well from the Whites. So yeah, if you've not checked out that Monday Night Fulham Fix, please do. He's absolute gen, and there's some great banter as well between Sean and Alan about the time that they were playing together and about other characters in the dressing room. So yeah, go check it out. Question number 8. Fulham shocked the world of football by bringing in Edward van der Sar to SW6 after Juventus had signed which goalkeeper? It was Gianluigi Buffon. Juve splashed out 100 billion lira, that's around 52 million euros on Buffon, leaving Van der Sar's surplus to requirements, which Fulham certainly benefited from. So there we go. Buffon is who we're looking for there. Question number 9. From which French club did we sign Steve Marley? Lyon. There we go. And finally, question number 10, our final question of our Sunday Night Fulham Quiz. How did Slaviša Jokanovic first make contact with Alexander Mitrovic to discuss bringing him in on loan? Okay, the answer is WhatsApp. There was an incorrect story printed at the time because I would have probably said Snapchat up until very recently when I was corrected by someone. But it is WhatsApp, it's not Snapchat. I mean, you couldn't really imagine Slav as the sort of person who was Snapchatting anyone, so it wouldn't make too much sense. So the answer to that is WhatsApp. I mean, just think of that as a moment of those two, him bringing Mitrovic to the club, and it was like with pretty much like minutes to spare or something crazy. Just incredible, and what a big part of Fulham history he is, or they both are already. Just massive. But there we go. That is your final question of your Sunday Night Fulham Quiz. Really enjoyed this. It's been loads and loads of fun. Hope you guys did really well. Mark your points out of a possible 40. And then head on to Twitter now. Let us know how you got on. Be intrigued to see if everyone seems to be improving, or maybe you've had a dip. There were some tough ones in there. But yeah, let us know how you got on. And listen, guys, as always, stay safe, and hopefully we're going to see you down the cottage at some point in the not too distant future. Big love, guys. Come on, Fulham. See ya.